Good evening. This is Michael Burke, Superintendent of the Rye Neck Schools, bringing you our third bond referendum live stream. Now, these are critical opportunities for the Rye Neck community to receive comprehensive information about our upcoming October 1st bond referendum. The reason we are posting these is to provide constant information that you can refer back to at your leisure over the next few months. Today, we are joined by two Rye Neck senior student athletes. We have Mia Rizzo, all-league field hockey player from our sectional finalist field hockey team, and Davey Ryan, three-sport athlete for soccer, basketball, and baseball. And Davey, congratulations. You were just recently named the Con Edison Student Athlete Award winner, so congratulations to you. And thank you, both of you, for joining me here today. I'm going to start with Mia. Mia, it was an honor watching our field hockey team compete this year. It was my first year here at Rye Neck. You have spoiled me, so I'm going to expect that each and every year. Can you speak to your experiences growing up in sports here in Rye Neck? Did you get to use the athletic facility a lot, and was it an enjoyable experience?
Yeah, I grew up going to so many games, and it was just such a fun experience. And then in middle school, like gym classes, we were introduced to the athletic facilities, which got us like so excited for high school sports. And then when we were able to use them during high school sports, everyone loved it. And so many people joined sports teams that they didn't play in the past, and everyone just got new opportunities to play and like enjoy all the equipment and everything. And a lot of us use the fitness center to like work out after school and like use fields for after practices for like extra practice and on the weekends over the summer. And it's just we all enjoy it so much.
Mia, I think that's one of the great things about being in a small knit community, right? When you were a younger player, you came up to the high school, middle school, got to use the facilities, and then maybe that was something that motivates you to continue to play in sports, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. It like got us all so excited, and we were just so happy to join the teams, and so many of our students do like play sports because of that. So
excellent. Let's talk about some of the practice challenges you face playing sports here at Rye Neck. My prior district had a grass field as well, and it's not easy. You know, there is some adjustments, especially when we are the last school in Section 1 to not have an all-weather surface. So talk about some of the practice challenges you faced when you were going through the season.
Yeah, having grass and not turf was definitely a really hard challenge that we had to deal with during the year. Because especially, I know it was a challenge for like all sports, but especially field hockey, it's a super different game, turf versus grass. So like, especially by the end of the year, near the goals and everything, they were like just ripped up and stuff. And when the weather was bad, if it was raining, it would like flood and get muddy, and which was super difficult to play on. So I think that was really hard. And then also we weren't able to like learn certain skills and stuff like that other teams had using their turf fields. So then when we went to play them on their turf fields, we didn't have those skills to use, which had our whole team, our skill level as like a team was definitely lower than other schools.
Yeah, and Mia, it's a variable. It's a variable that you don't want to have to worry about. Specifically this season, which was one of the best we ever had in Rye Neck history, you were preparing for the sectional final against Bronxville. And I remember there was even some question about the prior game, whether we were going to be able to have that or not. Now, our athletic director, Mr. Siglia, was able to get you practice time for one day at another location. How was that, and how was the experience then going to the all-weather surface up in Lakeland for the sectional final?
We were so happy that we did get that opportunity to practice on turf before, because we got to practice and like even learn new skills that we hadn't been able to on grass. So it definitely helped us work on those skills and prepare us for the game better than we ever would have been able to with just the grass. Then again, we only had so much time on it, so it definitely did. We used it as much as we could, but if we had it during the year, it would definitely made our skill level and prepare us even more for the
Yeah, Mia, and I'll even speak to that. You guys competed so well in that sectional final, but correct me if I'm wrong. I definitely think there was an adjustment period, right? When you started, it seemed like you had to get settled. Once you guys got settled, you were playing exceptionally well. So I would think the start probably maybe was one of the bigger challenges.
Yeah, I think that happened for a lot of our games, like our away games, because the first quarter, you can definitely see a difference between like just all of our players, because we definitely did have to get used to it and really just get used to it before we got able to.
Completely understand. Awesome. Thank you. Davey, I'll turn to you. You had the unique experience of being a three-sport athlete. Was that something you always enjoyed doing as a child? And where did the love of playing three sports first start here in Rye Neck?
Yeah, so I've definitely always enjoyed playing as many sports as I can. I grew up with my older brother playing every sport, and I always wanted to try to keep up with him and his friends. And I love going from practice to practice, game from game to game, and just filling my schedule.
Mhm.
But I've always had a passion for baseball and basketball the most. But I also loved like playing soccer every Sunday and the change of scenery with that because it's such a different game. And I think also playing these sports has helped me so much in high school, as I feel like I'm so much better at managing my time, and it's helped me juggle everything being a three-sport athlete now.
Yeah, and I think that's a key point. I remember going to college. I was sort of surprised because you have the schedule here in high school, Davey, that you do have a lot more free time in college than maybe you realize. So being able to fill up and structure your day, I think is a great point. Let's talk about soccer this year. There's a huge difference between playing on a grass field and an all-weather field. I had the pleasure of seeing you in so many games, specifically the Mamaroneck away game. I was so excited by the atmosphere. Our student body came out. It was really great. I remember bumping into someone. I'm like, wow, we should really have this game at home. And they said, well, Mr. Burke, that's something maybe you could look at with the community, which is what we're trying to do here with the bond referendum and get some light. So talk about adjusting in road games such as the one at Rye and Mamaroneck.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's definitely a huge difference in the playing surface. Like we have to adjust so much. And I think playing on the turf field allows players to just focus on their skills and their certain soccer plays, but there's not as many variables. But when you play on a grass field like we have, there's a lot more things you can't control, like whether it's a bad hop or something. So for the goalies, the players, you always have to have that thought in the back of your mind about what if this takes a bad hop? Like, do I position myself differently? And I think on turf, you can kind of be more free and just trust everything's going to be true. And that's a big difference. So I thought we were at a severe disadvantage going to the games on turf because like we were basically the only team we played that didn't have a turf field. So all these teams, all they do is practice on their turf field, and we're used to our grass field where we're kind of focused on the bad hops and less of just naturally playing, I feel like.
Yeah, Mia talked about this a little bit, so I'll ask it to you. Weather challenges in the fall and the spring are always so difficult. Rainouts, daylight savings time. How hard is that to navigate? And certainly holes, ankle injuries as well in the grass is something that I know the students in the exit interviews that I've met with the seniors have mentioned to me. So talk about that a little bit, your experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely super tough. I remember past 3 years having games get cut short, right? And we're tie game, it's a close game, or even down, but there's still time left, and there's overtime, but it just ends because of darkness. So I think that's a huge thing that the turf field and the lights would allow us. And also the practice time with the rain and stuff, all these teams, if they have turf, they're basically playing on it every day, no matter the weather. Obviously, if there's thunder and stuff, they're not on it. But I think rain or sunshine, they're on the field. And I think that's a big thing because the practice in the gym, especially for soccer, like it's so difficult to, working your skill and do things inside, where I feel like other teams are at an advantage being outside basically 6 days a week.
Yeah, really great point. Last question for both of you. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much. Mia, I'll start with you. Do you have a preference, games during the day or games at night? Would you appreciate the chance to maybe play some games under the light here, night games as a high school student athlete? Talk about how you think that would be received both as a player and maybe as a younger person as well when you were coming up to the sports complex.
Yeah, I definitely prefer night games. I just think the whole environment is so much more enjoyable for everyone, the actual players and the people on the sidelines cheering us on. It gives us it allows so many more people to be there. I know a lot of parents can't go because of work. And I know, like, for me, I was not able to go to a lot of the boys soccer games because our field hockey practices just interfered with it. So a lot more people would be able to be there, which makes it so much more fun. And then I think it also just gives us a break, like a break from like school, from having a long school day. It gives us time to rest and prepare like as much as we can for the games, which is definitely harder when you're just going straight from school to a game. And yeah, again, how Davey said, like some games are cut off. A lot of JV games are even sometimes canceled because of that. And I think that sucks because we don't have that much. We could have so many more games and so much more time if we did have lights.
Yep. It's a great point. That's why we're putting forth in the presentation two fields, because we are cognizant of the student athletes. We have a lot of sports here, want to make sure that we have that flexibility, have the opportunity to get kids home early as much as possible, and then really enjoy those night activities, night events. We have them. Really great points. Davey, same question to you. Night games, different atmosphere. Do those opportunities at other schools have you maybe anticipating the game a little more when you know it's at night?
Yeah, totally. I think Mia made an amazing point about the feeling of, going home after school before a night game. Like it's such a long school day and, you're right at the field right after school usually. But I think going home, hydrating, eating, I think that's such an important thing that night games have to offer. So I think that's a big thing. But also, like, these past 2 years, we played at Mamaroneck Saturday night games, and it's been an amazing experience. But like you said, like, we aren't able to have those games at our home, which is obviously not ideal. Like, they've been so much fun, but I can only imagine how much more exciting they'd be if we were the home team and not going into someone else's field. So I think, like, we've always played games that gotten dark, and it's such a bad feeling to have when you're right there in the game and it's going one way, but then of course the game just ends because it's too dark. And so I think it's a tough way to end the game, and I think that can definitely be avoided. And I also think, like, the big thing about Rye Neck I noticed is, like, the big upgrade we had with our gym. I think getting the middle school gym. I remember it was just one gym, so I think we made a big upgrade there, and now it's JV and varsity can practice at different times. Modify can practice there, so I think that upgrade has only benefited us so much. So I think an upgrade like this would have huge impact as well, similar to that. So
I appreciate both of you taking time out of your schedule. I'll just take a moment here and I'll show you what the rendering would look like, what we're thinking of here. And there you go. Would be an opportunity to have the two fields. Like we said, you can notice in the middle here, we'd have a driveway drop off for parents. Even if we have graduation outside, something like that, have some great opportunities here. So I would think that something like this, maybe you guys are seeing this for the first time. Reaction, thoughts? What do you think?
I mean, I think it looks amazing. I've been hearing about it, and I've been wondering what it's really going to look like. And I think this is perfect. We have such a big space back there, and I think this really uses all our space and makes it all the fields are close. You don't have to walk far, and you can kind of be in the center of all the action there.
Mia, field hockey under the lights. You what do you think?
I agree. Well, dude, I think it looks so great, and I think I'm excited to even come. My sister plays field hockey, and she's younger, so if she's able to use these, then I can come back and enjoy it and watch these games.
Listen, thank you two so much. You guys are seniors, leaders here in the school. You've done so much for the school and the community. We're indebted to you, but it was great. You took a few minutes. Just a reminder to everyone, next live stream is going to be Wednesday, April 22nd, trying to do one every month. So you can look back at your leisure and learn about what we're trying to put forth here with the bond referendum. The vote is Thursday, October 1st. And I know it seems like a long way off, especially for two here looking forward to college, I'm sure. But it's only 190 days away. Not that we're counting, only 190 days. And of course, you have any questions, please email them to bond@ryeneck.org. It was an honor talking to both Mia and Davey. Thank you two so much for joining us. We will see you around the campus here, and we appreciate your time. Any questions, let us know.